Today on Hopped Up Beer Review, we're going to be trying Torpedo Extra IPA by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company out of Chico, California. Thanks for joining us. Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. We are back, and we basically just get together and have a beer together. I mean, what better way to say spend a nice evening than beer with friends? I've got Andy in the attic. I've got Jay. Gentlemen, what are we drinking today?
We're going to have the Torpedo Extra IPA from Sierra Nevada. So, time to drink, right?
Yes,
Indeed, it is.
Let's quell those demons.
My top of my can's a little dirty.
Did you not provide this?
I don't know how I feel about this. Yes, and I shook yours up.
Mine is pristine. Gorgeous.
Because it's in that fancy koozie there that you've got. Hopped Up Beer Review koozie. If you want to get one, there is a link below in the description where you too can own a Hopped Up Beer Review koozie, shirt, or glass.
I mean,
Torpedo.
Come on, mate. Like, got to slow to it. But
it's like a drip
vertical. There. Well, because if I go vertical, it would be foamy. So, taking it nice and easy.
Oh, my Lord.
There's a saboteur amongst us. Looking at you, Ben.
And there go the sirens again here. I'm currently under a severe thunderstorm watch, and sirens are going off. But the pub shed is rated for a strong wind. That's about
I was about to say a wolf blowing outside,
Yeah.
That's not it.
If you sneeze, it might fall over. So please keep those outside.
Well, I'm going to be here a while. Thanks for the phone, Ben.
Got it. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Gonna just let it come down. So the Extra IPA, I searched and searched, couldn't find one that called Extra. I believe it's not quite enough of an IPA, enough of an ABV to be imperial or double, but at 7.2%, it's getting close. Usually that starts after 7.5. It's got 65 IBUs. Has caramelized and two-row pale malt and Citra, Crystal, and Magnum hops. There's those Magnum hops again. We had those just the other night. They say it has notes of citrus, tropical fruit, and pine. I would agree with Sierra Nevada knows their pine. Yes, I can get that. It is then dry hopped using the hop Torpedo. It's a custom invention by Sierra Nevada. So it is a torpedo-shaped vessel that is filled with whole cone hops. Sometimes dry hop is done with the pellets that are the lupulin, and it's all smashed together. But they do the actual entire flower. 75 pounds of it can be stuffed into these torpedoes. And then the beer flows out of the fermenter into the torpedo and then back into the tank. And that's how they dry hop it instead of putting it all in the tank. So it's an innovative way to get it flowing and try and get as much surface area of the cones in there. So they named it, I think this was the first one that they used using the new vessel or the new dry hopper. So they said it looked like a torpedo. So they called it the Hop Torpedo. They named this beer Torpedo.
Do we know, are they the only ones to use this torpedo vessel?
It did not mention if other people then purchased said invention. I don't know if it's patented.
Yep.
That they did not expound on their website.
Interesting.
So we have reviewed so far their pale ale, their flagship, and this torpedo, and then we'll have a few more. So to kind of recap, Sierra Nevada was founded in 1980. It's a regional brewery out of Chico, California. The owner was a home brewer. I don't know if you remember, this was the guy who he bought his first homebrew kit as a teenager and had to hide it from his mom because, of course, it was illegal for him at the time. And then he eventually opened a shop for homebrewing in Chico, after like for supplies and things like that. Then he wanted to start a brewery, and he had to build his own equipment, salvaging things from like old dairies and salvage yards, things like that. And yeah, they also in 2012 opened a second brewery in Mills River, North Carolina.
It's crazy when you think about the people that started this kind of process, home brewing and then into a brewery. Nowadays this stuff, you can go Amazon, you can go anywhere and pick up the supplies you need to do that kind of thing. It's abundant, you can buy, numerous different kits, and obviously he got his hands on a kit. It's just amazing how, they did some of that stuff back then without having these things readily available.
Like we had to go find a local brewer who was willing to talk to you about it, or go to your local library, and hopefully the Dewey Decimal System will lead you to the right place.
Yeah, and I think that,
1980 we're talking.
Yeah, and you're thinking about places that are, I think about that would almost be nearly impossible in like a place where we grew up, right? Because just the population density is so small that you have less and less of just readily available things that you may need or could potentially even use. But anyway, just find that interesting that they're able to were able to do that back then, and now it's just so easy in a sense to get the supplies that one may need. That's just a small aside, I guess. All right. Has anybody had this one before? Surely we all have.
I haven't logged it, but I'm like, I swear I've had Torpedo. Oh yeah, I have had it. Okay. It was one of the others, I thought. And it's been, oh my gosh. Okay, this was in the early days of my craft beer drinking. So yeah, I'm not going to go by my old score or what I said. But This was 2014, my first log, or my only logging of it. So it was back in the day when I thought Sam Adams, Boston Lager was hoppy. So.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking Guinness was very thick and like motor oil.
Oh, how we have changed.
How we have.
So we all have had it.
Yep. Jay.
Yeah. Always Jay. You're so picky.
I think we expressed this with the pale ale, but Sierra Nevada is kind of one of those OG crafts. I mean, one of the gateways that you could get, especially from the West Coast. The citrus, I kind of get some sort of either grapefruit or orange peel, and then you get the pine that definitely comes through on this. And I honestly think the extra IPA, it means extra bitter, is 65 IBUs, but to me, this is probably one of the more bitter beers that you have. And I enjoy bitter beers and some of the hops, but to me, this one, for some reason, has always not set well with me and my taste for it. it's going to be a 6.5 for me. Something about it just always, I don't know if it's a combination of the hops and the way they do it, or what, but it's not one that I reach for.
It's the Torpedo, isn't it? It's the Torpedo.
It could be, I don't know. I mean, uh, could be the way they do that, or it could be the combination of the hops. I don't know.
And
Yeah.
typically, dry hopping helps to increase the aroma, the floral sense of it, and reduce
Right,
some of
and
that
recreate
bitterness.
bitter.
Yeah.
But in this case, I don't think it is, and because of the way you're talking, uh, how they dry hop it, it doesn't seem to work that way.
All right, Andy, what say you, Sir Attic?
So I have a little foreshadowing. Recently had the Hot Bullet Magnum edition, and of course, having recently reviewed Pale Ale, I of the three, I find this the least. Uh, and Jay is correct about that lingering bitterness on the back of the tongue, especially. It's got a good flavor, a good IPA flavor on the front end, but then uh, it leaves too long. It's like a guest that has overstayed their welcome. I don't need this to be around this much, and not in a good flavor that's lasting. It's a little too resin. So I think I'm along there with you, Jay, at 6.5. Just I could go. I mean, I would drink another one easily, but again, as you said, OG as we said, pale ale. You've had it. You know, it's always there for you if you need it, but you know, sexier beers right next to it on the shelf, and we're gonna go for that one. So only when my options are limited, I'm like, oh yeah, we'll go get a Sierra Nevada over this. So it's not offensive, but there's a better Sierra Nevadas than Torpedo in my opinion.
Yeah, basically the same that we said. If you have to choose between this and some of the macros, you're going to choose this. But if there's other options there, you kind of hit the nail on the head. That lingering bitter on the tongue.
Yeah,
it's a good way to put it.
All right, so not the IPA guy is going to go now. So the interesting thing for me is I don't necessarily get so much of the bitter on this one. The bitter doesn't linger for me. The bitter is there, but it's just a little bit for me. I don't have a ton of the bitter, and the bitter is what I actually hate.
You're drinking this can, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Same can.
Right.
I mean, it's a valid question, right? If both of you are saying it's very bitter. I do get the resin though, and it's almost like on the back end for me, it's almost like your mouth just goes dry, and it's just like, you're it's like, I don't know. It's like I have to have that next sip to, kick it back a little bit, but I don't get so much the bitter personally. Like, it just doesn't come through for me. So I mean, this beer though, to me is not, I mean, it's okay. It's not, one that, I'm probably, let me put it this way. It's not one is not an IPA guy. It's not an IPA that I'm going to necessarily need to have again. I probably will at some point. I'm not saying that, but it's not one that I need to go out and grab, necessarily. I don't find it offensive, like you guys said. If it's on the menu and I've got other macro choices, yeah, I'll probably pick this one. And I feel, and Annie, I think you alluded to this to a little bit, or Jay, one of you did. We talked about this on the Pale Ale. The Sierra Nevada just sits. If you've got macro and you've got Sierra Nevada, and then you've got other craft beer, it finds a nice little spot right there in the middle because they have such mass distribution. But it's almost like it's just that half step above. So anyway, I think this one again is okay. I'm going to rate it higher than you guys because it's an IPA and it's one that I would drink, again. So for me, it's going to be a 7. But I don't have to drink it again. Let's put it that way, I guess.
We'll say this. The can is different because I was used to the classic Sierra Nevada look with the hops going around the little, I don't know, is that a roadway valley? Looks like a road between the hop farm. They have changed it up and it looks like radar on a submarine, shooting torpedo on. So,
yeah. I kind of like the old more.
Me too.
Better.
I like the classic look better.
Yeah.
We're just crapping all over Torpedo Extra IPA tonight.
Yeah. Hopefully Sierra Nevada won't watch this.
Might hurt their business.
Yeah. Guess what? That is going to be a 6.7 for the Torpedo Extra IPA from Sierra Nevada. Definitely one that, again, if you are out there looking at a menu and you see craft beer, you can skip it. If you see macro in this, hey, yeah, give it a shot. Likely, if you're watching this show, you probably have had this already because it's kind of been everywhere, at least in the U.S. And if you're outside the U.S. and you haven't had it, this is probably one you can skip if you do come across it. But I'll let you decide that for yourself. Definitely, though, appreciate you checking out this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, cheers, that notification bell. Check us out on all social media links down below in the description. Come say hey in our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server. And if you let us know what your favorite Sierra Nevada beer is, we will give you a high five. If you have any interest in any Hopped Up Beer Review merch, we've got a link down below. Shirt, koozie, glass. You can come check that out and pick something out. And Zazzle will deliver it to your door. With that, for Andy in the attic and Jay, I am Ben, trying to not get blown away by a tornado. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Or a torpedo.
Torpedo, yes. Don't want to get blown away by one of those either.